Boris Johnson's controversial plans to rewrite parts of the Brexit withdrawal agreement could be crucial for Britain's future, as the EU's position has been ridiculous from the very start of negotiations, a new book suggests. On Saturday, Boris Johnson urged Conservative MPs to back his plan to override part of last year's Brexit withdrawal agreement. In a Zoom call with around 250 of them, he said the party must not return to miserable squabbling over Europe. Meanwhile, the EU has warned the UK it could face legal action if it does not ditch controversial elements of the Internal Market Bill by the end of the month. And the European Parliament has threatened to scupper any UK-EU trade deal if the bill becomes UK law. The two sides have less than 5 weeks to agree a deal before Mr. Johnson's 15 October deadline, after which he says he is prepared to walk away. Informal talks are due to resume today, with the next official round of talks, the 9th since March, starting in Brussels on September 28. Neither side is expecting a breakthrough, though. As tensions are set to rise in the incoming days, unearthed reports suggest the reason Mr. Johnson might be pushing for a safeguards clause, as both an insurance, and a deterrent. According to 2020 book Remaking One Nation, The Future of Conservatism, written by former No. 10 advisor Nick Timothy, there are plenty of warning signs to alert Britain not to rely on blind trust, particularly because Brussels has blatantly broken rules in the past. For example, in September 2017, former Prime Minister Theresa May decided that she would have to invoke Article 50 in order to start talks with Brussels. On the opening day of the Conservative Party conference, she announced she would trigger by no later than the end of March 2017. She promised to repeal the European Communities Act, which gave direct effect to EU law in Britain. She said, "We will do what independent, sovereign countries do. We will decide for ourselves how we control immigration. And we will be free to pass our own laws." Mr. Timothy wrote. Later, it was claimed that this speech set unnecessary red lines that made the Brexit negotiations impossible. It was even claimed that the red lines were invented by Theresa and May alone, with no input from anybody else. Both claims are ridiculous. First, Brexit policy was discussed at Cabinet, in the Cabinet Subcommittee, and in bilateral meetings between Theresa under ministers. No Cabinet Secretary, and certainly not one as experienced and as proper as Sir Jeremy Haywood, would have allowed new policy to be decided and announced in such a manner. And second, as any student of the European Union knows, the EU was established, in its original form, as a customs union. Its single market then developed over time.